What if you had the resources you needed for your mental health right at your fingertips? Imagine a world where our mental well-being is prioritized just like our physical health, and where we have access to the tools and support we need. That's exactly what the Make Mental Health Matter show is all about. Join Kelli Melissa Reinhardt, a true warrior for mental health, founder of Make Mental Health Matter nonprofit, author, and wellness coach. This show is your gateway to breaking down the stigma surrounding mental health. Tune in for enlightening conversations, expert insights, and empowering stories that will not only increase awareness, but also provide education about mental health. It's time to have those hard conversations, prioritize your well-being, and make your mental health matter. Your mental wellness journey starts here.
Welcome to another episode of the Make Mental Health Matter show. I am your host, Kelli Melissa Reinhardt, and I am excited. We're back virtual, but I do have a guest for today. It's been so fun. Earlier this year, I didn't have as many guests, and you all got to listen to me, but I love having guests because one, you don't have to listen to me the whole time. I mean, hopefully you like that, and that's why you tune in. But I also love to bring in different expertise, people who have had experiences, whether it is personal or somebody near and dear to them. But generally, why we get into the business that we do is because we have our own experiences, or we naturally attract the people that need our services the most, and we start to notice different patterns, different things that happen in these people's lives, and that's what we choose to focus on. So as an entrepreneur, I know myself, it can be a struggle. I mean, life can be really challenging. Life can also be really beautiful. And I have found that when I'm able to meet other people in the space, or I am able to tap into my mentors, I'm able to tap into experts, I'm able to have other people that can help and support me, I experience it so much better. So I'm not going to sit here and ramble because that's what I do. So let me introduce you to my guest. So Todd A. Krause is a TEDx speaker. I probably said that wrong, but you can correct me. Is a TEDx speaker, CPA, MBA, entrepreneur, and founder of Silversun Consulting. For over 30 years, he has helped business owners develop stronger leaders, healthier workplace cultures, and more profitable organizations. As the owner of the cleaning authority, Fisher's Todd grew the business from 1.8 million to over 4 million by investing in people and leadership. Today, he helps organizations recover lost profits by building workplaces where employees feel engaged and valued. His mission is to help leaders create businesses that thrive because their people do. So, without further ado, Todd, thank you so much for joining me.
Kelli, thank you for having me on your show. What an honor to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Well, there's a lot of things going through my head just from reading your bio, but I would love for you to just share a little bit with the audience about yourself and what made you want to get into this field that you are doing today.
Well, I literally grew up in southeastern Wisconsin. Parents ran a milk hauling business. So a lot of what I learned and a lot of what I do goes back to how my father treated his customers and the way he serviced them. I took a different route. I went to college, I earned degrees, I worked a lot of corporate jobs for many years. I was on the alternative side of finance. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, hedge funds, venture capital, private equity. So while my resume is filled with all of these corporate titles, my day-to-day work involved a lot of creating businesses when they weren't needed, shutting them down, selling off the assets, and meanwhile taking care of their operations while they were functioning. Along the way, I built a fund administration company from a startup to $2 billion in assets. I was recruited by ABN AMRO LaSalle Bank to help them enter the fund administration business because they needed an industry expert. And I got to actually create the cultures of some of these businesses. So when my belief system on how you should treat people, and you should see them and hear them and value them as complete persons. When that aligned with the organizations I was with, things went well. When it didn't align with those organizations, my experience there was not great. It was painful, and a couple of times ended with me leaving the organization. But it always went back to my belief that when you hire somebody, you get the complete package. They come with family, they come with children, sometimes their car breaks down, they get sick. So if we create the space for them to solve their problems, then what they bring in return is deep commitment to the business, and the quality of their work is just so much superior to somebody who's just there doing the minimum. They're working on a compliance level, whatever it takes to keep the job and get the paycheck on Friday. That can actually be a competitive advantage in this world that's so disconnected. We're not really talking to each other in today's world.
Yeah. Okay. So my brain always goes a million different miles when I'm talking to people, but I know exactly like what you're talking about too, because my former life, I was in corporate and I worked for a giant company that I loved being there. I was there for a really long time. They did give us a lot of benefits and things of that nature, but it also, I mean, really towards the end, it felt like we were just another number, right? Because we didn't, yes, we got all these great benefits, but when you use them, it was almost like you were scrutinized that you were using them. And so when you talk about building a company where you value your employees, you value what they come in with. Like, I am also really tapped into that as far as a nonprofit leader. And as we grow our team with our board and with our staff and with our volunteers, is that we also, being in the mental health and suicide awareness space, we're very aware of most of our volunteers. They have found us because they had mental health challenges. And so being able to work around whatever is going on has been really beneficial for them. And it also helps their performance is so much better when they are able to do the job that we ask them to do. So I think that's huge. And I would love for large corporations, I mean, even small corporations, I think, small businesses, right? The mom and pop shops and all of those, to be able to embody that too. So I love how you're helping people in that way.
It's unfortunate, but a lot of times if somebody has a health challenge or a mental health challenge, it becomes a reason to eliminate them. We live in a world where people are afraid to admit that they're human and that they don't always feel well. And sometimes they get down or even depressed. It's not safe to say that so often in today's world.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's amazing to be able to open up that space, right? To allow them to have their human experiences. And allow them to come into a meeting and break down because whatever is happening outside, like it's hard to just shut those off and just move on with your day. I know that sometimes we try to do that because we're so conditioned to be that way. But when we can create those safe spaces for people to just come in and share, it actually helps them process too, which I know sometimes feels uncomfortable for leaders in those spaces.
Well, as leaders, we're not experts in health or mental health. What we can do is we can show compassion and understanding and create space for these people to take care of these challenges in their life.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm curious. So, my brain also goes on the flip side. So, thinking about being a business owner, thinking about, so we're still pretty small with my nonprofit. And when people don't show up, oftentimes that puts a lot more back on me as the owner. And so sometimes there is this like give and take of, um, as the business owner, and I think that's maybe where some of the fear comes too, is that we're like, well, if they're going to take a whole bunch of mental health days off, or they're constantly going to be sick, or things of that nature, then everything's going to fall back on me. So I'm curious, as you help people, like what does this look like specifically? Like how can companies get away from the fear and move more towards really empowering their employees?
Well, let's talk about what you get first and then how you get there. So when we as leaders support the people who work for us and we give them that space that they need, they actually end up being healthier and having fewer problems. They're less stressed. They go through life knowing that it's okay to not be okay at times. It's okay to not feel good or to need treatment. What will often happen is they'll sometimes even push themselves more than they should to show up because somebody cares. They will be healthier actually, take fewer sick days. So how do we plan for that? We know that people are going to be out of the office at times. We have to have it built into our scheduling and our processes to know that people are allowed to take vacation times. They're allowed to have holiday times. They're allowed to go home at night and on weekends and have their own personal time. So we schedule for that. And we simply schedule for having people out of the office at times. That gives us a surplus of staff time that helps get us through when somebody calls in and says, I can't make it today, or I'm going to be out for a few days, or even a week or two. And we say, oh, wow, gosh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Anything we can do to help? But meanwhile, our brains are thinking, okay, we have to readjust the schedules. We need to maybe shift a few people around and what their priorities are while this person is away from their desk. It's part of business.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the so my nonprofit, we just started about 2 years ago. We have been working with a company in Colorado that actually gives us staff, and they pay them. It's kind of like an internship type of deal. It's on a 12-week period. But it's been really big for us as we grow the organization to be able to have people that can help, right? Um, Also, it's such a short container of time that there isn't like a lot of flexibility with these internships per se. But I think the coolest part that we have, um, noticed is that most people who come through this program end up being volunteers for us even after the internship time. Just because we do like to create that space of, you know, honest, open conversations, being able to be transparent with whatever's going on in life. And I love that you said that when we create these spaces, people tend to be, they don't have as many sick days, right? They do show up because now they're part of the mission, which is what I love, that you have you have a mission of what you're trying to accomplish, because now they're part of your mission and the mission of the company that they're working for.
I've actually found myself having to, not so much recently, but in the past, having to walk around the office and say, please go home. I need you back tomorrow, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. The work will still be here on your desk tomorrow. And I've had people go, oh, just one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. Kevin, you told me that 30 minutes ago. Please go home. Andrea, you told me that an hour ago. Please go home.
Yeah. That's not a horrible problem to have, but it is. You're like, get out of here, go home.
Yeah, I don't want you to burn out. And I would say, I don't want you coming in one day and going, can we talk? I can't do this anymore.
Mm, yes.
It's a
That's,
marathon. It's not a sprint.
I love that. Yes. We're going to go to our quick first sponsored break, but once we get back, I have a couple other questions that popped into my head as I was reading your bio. So we'll be right back after this quick sponsored break.
What if you could transform your mental health journey with just one question? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to prioritize your mental well-being like never before? Well, now's your chance. Introducing Make Mental Health Matter, the show that's changing the conversation about mental wellness. Join us every Monday on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time as we delve into insightful discussions, expert advice, and inspiring stories. Hosted by Kelli Melissa Reinhardt, a warrior for mental health. This show is your guide to breaking down the stigma surrounding mental health and discovering valuable resources to enhance your well-being. So, are you ready to take charge of your mental health journey? Tune in and let's make mental health matter together.
Feels good to feel good. Food that sings a rainbow. Feels good to feel good. A joy to watch it grow. Glimmers all around us, so get out there and glow. Feels good to feel good. Let it show. Feels good to feel good. Food that sings a rainbow. Feels good to feel good. A joy to watch it grow. Glimmers all around us, so get out there and glow. Feels good to feel good. And let it show.
And like that, we're back. If you happen to be just joining the Make Mental Health Matter show, thank you so much for tuning in, whether you are watching or listening. My guest, Todd, and I are talking about his experience of helping business owners, entrepreneurs, companies really create a space for their employees to not go into burnout and be less stressed, and also just creating these safe spaces, these opportunities for our employees, our helpers, our volunteers, our workers, right? The people that help us, that they can take time when they need to take the time if they are having a mental health challenge or maybe a physical challenge. There's so much, there is a lot of research out there that does show that when you create human environment, right? Because we're all human, then we have more employees who are positive, they're happy, they're willing to work with your company instead of feeling like just another number. So, I love, there was a question that had popped into my head because I am also curious about just understanding like the healthier, like having a healthier organization. Really, it is through building that strong leadership and then the workplace culture. So, if somebody is a leader, an entrepreneur, a business owner, and I know that we talked a little bit about this, but if they're like, I have no idea where to start with this conversation or how to do this, what are some of the starting points that you could give to them to be creating these environments?
Well, that they should start with, and what these business leaders can do is they can start by looking at some of their metrics and see if the metrics are indicating that they have a challenge to begin with. Turnover among customers and staff is oftentimes a good indicator that something could be healthier inside the walls of the business. Employees suddenly quitting. They tend not to tell us as leaders exactly why. They'll give us a safe answer. But if our people don't stay for a long time, which is always a good thing for a business when they do, because we retain knowledge, we retain experience, that's telling us something. So then look at the communication patterns inside of the business. And oftentimes it tends to be a lot of don't and no, and this is wrong, and that's wrong, and you missed this, and you didn't do that right. So everything that we're saying to them when we do that is all gets processed in here as, oh, I'm not good, I can't do anything right, I don't do a good job. When I took over the cleaning business, it was toxic. When I got really inside the business and looked at how it operated, I was just amazed at how the prior owner could even grow it to the size it was. Every morning, the managers were lecturing each of the teams about everything they did wrong the day before. The teams are coming in, they were grumpy, they took that grumpiness out the door with them to the customers' houses. And I finally just said, stop, don't do that anymore. Tell them what the customers ask us to do and show them what the rewards are for doing that. Pull down all of those signs that were negative, put up signage that was positive, put up signs that said, here's the rewards when you deliver what the customers ask for. Because if we look around us in the world, signs in general are negative. They're telling us what not to do. They're telling us what the consequences are if we do that. We tend to, as leaders, talk to our people that way. And we tend to forget to tell them what a great job they're doing and how much we appreciate it. We forget that part of leadership is guiding them, coaching them, mentoring them. It's our responsibility as leaders to remove obstacles and roadblocks for our people so they can do their job better. So back to the cleaning company, what ended up happening is there was this initial skeptical period where you could just see the teams, visibly the gears going, and they're going, do they mean it? Are they serious about this? There's rewards when we do things right? But wow, once the first couple of teams got bonuses, everybody wanted bonuses. And the culture changed within weeks. It was almost like flipping a switch. And The teams, we haven't had those type of conversations in the morning in years. The teams come in, they're laughing, they're smiling now. The reviews from the customers comment about on how cheerful the teams are and how what a pleasure it is to have the teams come into their house because they're happy people. What a difference. And we could see the response from our customer base. Our reviews shot up from under 200 to over 1,200 positive reviews in just a few short years. There's real financial reasons to want to do this. It makes the business grow faster. It makes the business more profitable. It's not just some sort of fluffy stuff we're talking about. It makes a difference all the way around.
Yeah, it is. I know when we always talk about youth, right? And we talk about reward versus discipline. So that's what came to my mind as you were talking about that is that youth, they will do more when you reward them. Adults are the same way, right? We have so much negativity that is constantly coming at us that when somebody shifts into the reward or the pleasure side, right, of the brain, it makes a huge difference. And I remember the very first time I ever learned about like pain versus pleasure and how the brain process. I'm a total nerd with a brain. But it made so much sense. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's why our brains are here to protect us. And when it's negative, 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 we're in this fight or flight and we're constantly just heightened that like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Oh, I'm going to say the wrong thing. Oh, I'm going to clean the wrong thing. I'm not doing it right. I keep, all these negative things. And then when you shift into the reward center or that pleasure center, it shifts. I mean, like you said, it's like a light switch that just changes your whole entire perspective that you're like, oh, I am worthy. Like, I am good at what I'm doing. And let me show you how much even better I can be, which feels really good, I know, for people in general. But I think at a business level, that's such a big piece that I feel like there's a lot of companies that are missing. So I love that you're doing the work that you are doing to help people to just start. And once you start, what does that really truly look like? And then now you're scaling the business because it's not just the employees, right? You're really truly it's everybody that is your employees are now interacting with, which are your clients and your customers. And it just creates a ripple effect, which I think is amazing.
There's a feedback loop that starts occurring. The employees are simply happier and enjoying life more. They start telling friends and family about it. We have people who walk in asking to apply. Oh my gosh, what a difference that makes in staffing when everybody else is moaning about where are all the good employees these days. And we say, well, you know what? We have a waiting list of people who would like to work here. They create happy customers who tell everybody else about it. It makes it easier to add customers. And then these customers do one more thing. They tell the world what a great job you do. And free advertising. It's so much easier to sign up the next customer after they've read a whole list of positive reviews from their friends and family and neighbors than it is to talk to somebody who's never heard of you before.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm curious, so where are you located?
We are in Fishers area, actually the northeast corner of Indianapolis. We're just literally across the street from Fishers.
That's awesome. And the cleaning business, that's not your only business that you have, correct? Or is that the only?
No, Silversun Consulting started up a few years ago to spread this message that treating people with respect, human dignity, seeing them as a complete person is not in any way in conflict with business growth. In fact, the two combined together actually accelerate growth. So I'm spreading that message two ways through Silversun Consulting. One from the stage when I speak, and the other one I work directly with business leaders to guide them through challenges that they're experiencing.
I love that. And I love that you just went to the speaking because that's where I was going to go next. But we're going to go to our last quick sponsor break. And then once we come back, because I would love to hear a little bit about your TEDx and your experience there. So we'll be right back after this quick sponsor break.
Have you ever felt completely alone?
Like your life doesn't matter.
One person dies due to suicide every 40 seconds.
You are not alone. Call the National Suicide Lifeline at 988.
Hope and recovery is possible.
1 in 8 people globally live with a mental disorder.
That's why empowering minds saves lives.
We need your help.
With only $19 a month, you help us save lives through mental health and suicide prevention education.
Scan the QR code or go to makementalhealthmatter.org to sign up as a warrior for mental health today.
And like that, we're back again. If you happen to be just tuning in to the Make Mental Health Matter show, thank you so much for watching or listening. You missed the whole beginning, so make sure you go back. But my guest, Todd, and I are talking about how, as business owners, entrepreneurs, corporations, humans, even small businesses, right? How we can really help our employees. I'm in the nonprofit space, so I talk about volunteers and our board members and how we can create a safe space for people to have human experiences. And it ultimately helps grow your business. It doesn't hurt your business. It actually flips that switch from negative to positive and really creates this space that people know that they're valued. And like Todd said, is they have a waiting list for people that want to actually work for him because of all of the positive reviews. And how cool is that to have you already have your candidates. You don't have to go out and search. And there are so many businesses, and I hear it all the time, that I can't find good workers. Like nobody works how they used to, blah, 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 right? Well, maybe you should look internal. What is your internal structure? What does that look like? Are you valuing your employees? Are you giving them time off? Are you allowing them to be a human and make mistakes? And how can you reward them versus punish them? So, really great things. You also have a consulting agency that you also speak. So, I did read in your bio that you are a TEDx speaker. What was your topic when you spoke, and how was that experience for you?
I spoke about the caring, positive, and culturally competent workplaces. That's one of the frameworks that I teach. And it's really around everything we've been talking about how we treat our employees. And one, we show them that we're a caring workplace, and there's what actions do we take to be caring, and then how do we create that positive workplace, the reinforcing it with rewards versus punishment when something doesn't go well, and culturally competent, which is much bigger than a lot of people think. It's much bigger than what is your ethnicity, what is your place of origin. Cultural competence involves what is the personality of the organization. How do we talk to each other? How do we relate to each other? Do we value each other? That is the culture. If we think of an organization and compare it in a lot of ways to a person, the way a person has a personality and likes and dislikes and behavior patterns, well, so do organizations, so do companies. So the cultural competence is all of that. How do we relate and talk to each other? And what are our values? I was fortunate enough to be selected to be a speaker for the stage in Austin, Texas, back in early March 2025. I was a fill-in for somebody who wasn't showing up, and they literally dropped him from the lineup, and I got his spot as a fill-in. I was initially preparing for about roughly 12 minutes on stage. In the end, they gave me 6. And at first I was a little down about that. I was a little discouraged. And then my coach, who was also working closely with the people organizing the South Congress event there in Austin, Texas, told me, she said, I've seen the lineup of topics. And she said, your topic is one of the most needed topics of the entire lineup. So I got to thinking about it and thinking, sometimes less is more. A few minutes with very thoughtfully chosen words and a well-organized speech is so much more valuable than 10 or 12 minutes that has no clear direction and is maybe difficult to understand what they're trying to say. So I actually went on stage really with her words echoing in my mind that it was important. The world needed to hear this message. They used the PBS station stage there. Whoa, an amazing experience. Television quality stage, lighting, cameras, sound. Imagine that. This is not just somebody setting up a video cam in a room somewhere. And I went on stage, this whole idea that you speak to an individual and you focus on different individuals in the crowd. I'm telling you, once they turned on the lights, I couldn't see anything. I knew there were faces out there somewhere, but I couldn't see past the glare of those stage lights. That was a hard thing. And relaxing was not the easiest thing to do, because suddenly I'm in front of a couple hundred people. I can't see anything, and I'm working on just remembering the speech. But they had it set up in a way that somebody would sit right down in front of the stage, and if you got stuck, they would feed you the next few words on your speech. So they had your script, because anything you do on a TED stage or the TEDx stage is all pre-scripted. You're not walking on stage and just talking for 6 minutes or 10 minutes. It's pre-scripted. They've gone through it. They've approved everything. I was fortunate enough to have my wife with me, and she was the one who, when I got stuck, would feed me the next couple of words. But then they take it and they polish it all up and they edit that out, and you look so professional. You look like you remembered every single word, and all of the ums and ahs gone. It was pretty amazing.
That's awesome. I love to hear people's experience. I did TEDx in what was it? 2023. But it's the Cherry Creek Women TEDx, and she did the founder. They do theirs a little bit differently. It wasn't like 100% scripted, which I thought was really cool because I can't remember. I'm like one of those people that you can obviously see on my show is that I don't remember things. I have to kind of go back. And what she had us do was we wrote down what we wanted to say. She gave us about like 10 minutes to just write. And then you'd have to just stand up. You had to put your notes away, stand up, and just talk for 10 minutes. And that's kind of how we brought our speeches together. And then she said, you know, whatever comes out that's supposed to come out will be perfect when you get up there. And I had 11 minutes, but it ended up only being 9 because I talked so fast. I was super nervous, and I also, I was talking about AI and nonprofits, and this was like when AI was first starting to come out. Now I know a lot more about it, so now would be a better time to, but I was just kind of prompting people of like how they could possibly use AI with nonprofits. And it was one of those, you can't see anything, right? Ours was kind of a small theater, but it's definitely, I'm like, oh man. And then I got off stage and I was like, oh, I forgot this and I forgot that. And then I was like, that's why it shortened about 2 minutes. But I totally agree with you, is sometimes less is better, because especially in today's technology world, or people are scrolling through things so quickly. I am one of those that I tend to put everything on 2x, like 1x or 2x, just to go a little bit faster. But I think it's such an experience. And I love that you took your knowledge and were able to do that on stage. And man, it would have been so great to have somebody. We didn't have anybody that was prompting us. So that would have been really nice.
That was a huge help, I'm telling you. But the style of speaking that you're describing there is the one that I'm also most comfortable with. Getting in front of some group and knowing that there's 3 or 5 points that I want to make sure I talk about, but not having every word pre-planned. That to me feels so foreign.
Yeah, definitely. And so like when you go and speak, who are the main people that you are speaking for?
It's typically business leaders, and it's been most often in Chamber of Commerce or Rotary type settings. I take a slideshow with me. I used a presenter view for myself, where I have the whole script of the speech showing to me, but I don't use those words. I use that as more of a prompt to remember what types of things I want to make sure that I cover as I'm clicking through the slides.
Yeah.
When I do that, I get the best response from the audience. If I try to make sure I do it word from word, I'm stiff. I'm not nearly as interesting.
Yeah, I know that one too. I used to read off the slides. I'd make slides, and read off of them. And I was like, why am I even putting slides up if they can read it themselves?
As somebody sitting in the audience, I really dislike when the presenter reads the slides. My reaction, exactly what you said. I can read. Tell me something I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I love, and so it really is the space, right, for businesses to bring you in to have these conversations. And then I would imagine that from there, they can work with you to be able to implement these techniques into their business. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely, that's correct. I'm happy to present them to them from stage, and I love working directly with people. That's always such a fulfilling experience to help them and guide them.
I love that. And I mean, it really is, it's creating a culture, like you said, right? Like a workplace culture, and making sure that it's really aligned with your values, the values of the company. And I think that's also a process. I know, at least for our nonprofit, we knew what we stood for, but until we really created our actual values of what we think is the thing that guides us throughout everything that we do. Once we had those in place, it was like, oh, it felt like everything started to click, and it continues to click, right? Because then you really direct everything around the values and your mission and your purpose and your vision. Of course, I'm in the nonprofit space, so we are that it's very guided by those things. But I also believe that any type of business should have those too.
Every business, every organization needs those in order to be a healthy organization. The big reason that I focus so much on the culture is because at the end of the day, we all have access to the same tools, technology, and AI. The only limiting factor in that area is our budget. So if we want to say, well, what can we add on top? What can we use as a differentiator? Well, we can be the organization that cares. We can be the organization that will stop and help people. And why do we do that? Because in the end, they deliver a better service. They deliver a better quality product. They do a better job at satisfying the customer's wants and needs.
Yeah. And it makes, I mean, it really truly shows, right? In all of the interactions that your employees have with your clients. I think the interactions from the leaders to the employees, and then really being able to have that reward. And I know you talked about bonuses earlier, and there may be some companies out there that are like, well, we're just not really in a place to be able to bonus our employees. But I would imagine there's also a lot of other ways that you can show your gratitude. And then once you get to that place financially, then it is something that you can do. But what would be like, what would be some other rewards that we may be able to offer to our employees if maybe we're just not in that place that we can bonus people?
Well, let's talk about both. But other rewards are simply recognizing them for birthdays, service anniversaries, sponsoring some employee meals. They do not have to be expensive, big events. Having food for them, maybe in the morning as they arrive. Little things like that go a long way and become very meaningful to employees. But this bonusing them, that is a typical reaction that, oh, that sounds expensive. Well, here's the reality of it, and I have actual numbers. Operating expenses have dropped more than 8% for the cleaning company. Even though we pay out all of these bonuses when the customers tell us we do a good job and when they leave positive Google reviews, we're bonusing them on their next paycheck every time that happens. 8% of $4 million is $320,000. We have $320,000 more profit every year, even while paying out these bonuses. The employees are coming in, they're getting the work done faster. We keep them longer, they're more experienced, they make fewer mistakes. We have less hiring and training expenses. You can go down the list of everything that's employee related that's costing less because we're retaining happy, dedicated people and we're keeping their experience.
I love that. I've heard that on average it can cost anywhere between, I mean, $5,000 to $20,000 to actually train an employee.
Oh, absolutely. And that's not even factoring in the lost productivity, the impact on customer relations, because the customers develop relationships with our staff. What businesses fail to do is to view these people as their ambassadors to their customers. How you treat these frontline people will flow right out to the customers. If they're not happy with how they're treated back at the office, why would they be happy when they're servicing your customers?
Definitely. And I know for me, I would love to have, I mean, If I had somebody in my home cleaning or in my business cleaning for me, I would definitely much rather have them happy than I think they're gonna like destroy all my stuff, right?
It, whether it's the plumber, whether it's the carpenter, whoever, it makes a huge difference. Your happy employee is going to be the one that makes sure that they not only do a good job, but they clean up after themselves, that they present themselves well. The grumpy employee, they'll leave the mess behind. Well, we got the work done. We fixed your leak, but we left the puddle in your utility room, and we left pieces of pipe in your utility room. We left footprints in your house. By the way, here's the bill. Or the other plumber who's puts on shoe covers, cleans up after themselves. Your utility area looks cleaner than it's been in a long time, and your leak was fixed.
Yeah, such a different perspective, right? And I love the visualization of that. We've had a lot of contractors in our house, so like for me, I was like, oh yeah, 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 I get that one. But
Well,
I love that you said that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
it's true in all industries.
Yes. Yeah, every single industry. I mean, you could 100%. You can tell. I mean, even if you think about the restaurant industry, when you walk into a restaurant, you can tell if the employees genuinely like their job or if they're there just to get tips or just get a paycheck, right? You can definitely sense that and the energy when you walk into any brick and mortar space for sure. We're coming close to the end. So I want to give you an opportunity to just share with people like what it looks like really to work with you and then how they can find you if they want to.
I will work with people in several different ways. If you have a group, and the group could even be your managers, you might like me to talk in the form of a speech, like a keynote, or run a session for you, do some training for you. The other option is a more hands-on guided approach to overcoming these challenges and creating the business that's rapidly growing. But it's the same message. It's all centered around what we get when we value the people who work for us and align it with tools, the technology, and the operations that are running efficiently and effectively. I do that through Silversun Consulting, where you'll find it at www.silversunconsulting.com. Feel free to peruse the blogs and all of the media that's posted, but on the About page, you'll find my personal email address and my phone number. Call me. That phone number rings right here. I answer my phone, and I look forward to talking to you and helping you with whatever challenges you face.
Awesome. And for those of you that are listening, so that is Silver, Silver, Sun, Sun, Consulting, consulting.com. So make sure if you want to work with Todd that you go out to the website. Like you said, the phone rings directly to him. And for those of you that are watching, you can see it right over somewhere over there, over down at the bottom. So I will also drop it in the show notes, but this was such a great conversation. Todd, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. And again, this is not just fluff and buff, right? Like this is like he has the numbers as to where the companies were and how he has been able to grow them, and having a background in finance, I'm sure you would be more than happy. If anybody is curious, you probably have those numbers ready. Any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience?
I would just encourage everybody in the audience to not be afraid of the challenges that they face. We all have them. Health and mental challenges but just go out and do what it is that your heart wants to do. Don't be afraid to try.
I love that. Thank you so much, Todd, for being an amazing guest. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. What an honor being here.
Yeah. Amazing. That was such an awesome conversation. I hope that you took notes. If you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, you work at a corporation, you are a leader in any way, really great ways to shift the culture. The culture is everything. And I will tell you, I mean, I've had lots of different positions throughout my life, leadership, corporate, being in the restaurant industry, right? And the reason that I stayed at some of those places, or maybe I left, is because the culture, right? I either really, really loved it or I hated it. And it was something that I couldn't continue with. So, especially nowadays, search out the places that are like, I mean, a waiting list to have people work for you. That's huge. And as a leader, make those places that people want to join your wait list. So, no matter what, make sure you come back next Monday. I go live every single Monday at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. You can listen on Dream Vision 7 Radio, or you can watch on E360 TV at 5 p.m. or on the YouTube channel. That's all Mountain Denver time. So no matter what, I will see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for joining today for the Make Mental Health Matter show. We hope you found today's episode insightful and empowering. Remember, your mental health journey doesn't end here. For more resources, support, and information, visit us online at makementalhealthmatter.org. You won't forget to subscribe to our show or follow us on social media to stay connected and continue the conversation, will you? That's right. Together, let's make mental health matter. Until next time, take care of yourselves